All right, my friends. So I wanted to make a little video on my Manfrotto Bogen fluid head model 3063. And I wanted to show you that two different styles, but they're using the same number. So this is an older version. This is a newer version. I'm not sure what years they are, but there's really only one difference between these two, and that is in the detach and reattach mechanism. For this newer one, what we're going to see is the latch is up here, right? You can see that it blocks, it stops, and then we have this one here, which this latch here, you have to move first. Then you can move this out of the way, and it kind of kicks up the plate, the quick release plate right here. All right, so then you attach your whatever it is you're going to be using this for. And this is, like I said, it's going to be a fluid head. For those of you who don't know what that is, I'll explain that to you later. So you put that back in here like this. And the feature that's unique about this one here is basically when you apply pressure, look what happens here. Okay, it quickly locks it into place. That is the only difference between this more newer-ish one compared to this one. But remember, they're using the same number, 3063, so there might be a confusion. Some of you who think that you are buying this one without knowing that there's an older model, you might screw up. But honestly, it's not really that big of a deal of a feature, at least not for me. Maybe for some of you who actually have videoing heavy equipment, that's a lot nicer. But let's go ahead and see how this one works, which is not that much different. So you have this latch here, and you pull this out, and now you're going to put your plate back in here, and now you have to move the latch back, and you saw that it fell into place, and that's it. Other than that, they're exactly the same. I've been messing around with the parts here. This locking system here is the same as here. They're interchangeable. This entire mechanism is interchangeable with this mechanism. This bar or handle here is interchangeable with that one. Even this little nut here is interchangeable with this one. The handles, of course, are interchangeable. The plates are actually interchangeable. And pretty much everything is interchangeable with these two. It's just like I said, even I think this pink thing here, I didn't take it apart enough to figure that one out, but I'm pretty sure it is. We'll take a look at it in a minute. But so a lot of this is interchangeable. And like I said, the only difference is going to be in the release and locking system for the older one and the newer one. So for those of you who don't know, so that's what you need to look for. Okay, that's all you need to look for if you want to buy one. Now, for those of you who do not know what a fluid head is, these devices were designed for primarily videoing, so they give you a nice smooth movement as you're panning up and down or left or right. You can't see it in this video, but there's actually resistance to me going up and down and sideways, which gives it, I said, it gives it a fluid movement and motion, fluid head, gives it a nice smooth movement. It's really nice. I never heard about these because I usually did just even when I did videos with my cell phone and my Sony 6405, I just used a regular tripod. But I got these a few years ago, and I ended up really, really liking them. I don't do anything professional at all, just for fun stuff, or doing my YouTube videos sometimes, but mostly just for fun stuff. I never even post anything on YouTube that I use these for. But when I go camping, I'll take my telescope or my spotting scope or my binoculars, and I put them on these things here, and I can get stargaze and such. So you can use these for a lot of different things. So let's go ahead and take a look at what um, some of these features are. So as I said, you've got this one here that goes left and right, and everything that I show you here is exactly the same on this older version. Okay, so you lock this into place, and then you can't move this left or right. Okay, you want to release it, and like I said, there is resistance there because um, that's what is designed to do that. Now, also, by the way, real fast, this one here is what prevents the left and right motion on this one, but it isn't the same thing. I mean, you can't slightly tighten these and then, oh, I'm going to tighten this and it'll give me a nice fluid motion. No, this comes to an abrupt stop. or an abrupt start, and these here don't do that. They give you a flow. Okay, so that you can't do the same thing that you can do with these fluid heads. So anyway, I'm sorry I jumped back to that, but it's very important for those of you who don't know about fluid heads. It's very important that you know that you cannot do the same thing. Even if you tighten the nuts on these things, you can't. You just can't do it. And again, you tighten this one here, and you can't move left or right. You tighten this one here. Oops, sorry. You tighten this one here, and you can't move up and down. And you move this one in this direction. Okay, it locks it into. It kind of helps lock it into place, but not really, because now you can still move it up and down, but there's a lot more resistance going on here. A lot more. So it gives you a bit more of a smoother, slower, but yet smooth movement if you want, or maybe if you have a heavier camera. Say, for example, you have something heavy and you don't want it to work against you as you're panning down. That there will slow it down from tipping over. Boom. So that's a nice feature as well. This whole mechanism here, like I said, you can loosen this up and you can put it at different angles. See, whatever angles you want. Okay. You can also push your handle up farther or out more if you want one, or if you got a short one here. You can also take the entire mechanism here and put it on this side. Okay. See how it has teeth? And so does this side have teeth? If you want to do a lefty, you can do lefty. So like I said, same thing here. Now another feature here, I'm going to tie this up here. Okay, so now another little feature here is this pink thing here. Now I'm going to go down. All right, so that right there is as far as it'll go tipped over. Okay, but when you push the button down or in, you can tip it to a good 90 degrees. You see? Now, why would you not want to do that? Well, I got these because I was looking for the heavy duty tripods, but the Manfrottos come in, they sell a bunch of different sizes and styles, and something this size is also available. And I've seen people sell something this size with a fluid head, which is a good combination. Even though I do like my heavy tripods, that's a good combination. And what if you have a heavy equipment, and it does that on you on a smaller tripod? You might tip it over, or in fact, you might hit. You might hit your lenses on the legs, so you don't want that necessarily. And pushing that button out there, it prevents it. That's as far as it goes. So I think I talked about all the features on here. There's also a balance little level right here. And as I said, pretty much everything seems to be pretty interchangeable except for the quick release mechanism. It's antiquated or older, newer. Otherwise, everything seems to be fitting into place. The same nuts, the same bars, handlebars, everything seems to be the same. So if you like to do videoing, even if it's on your cell phone, it doesn't matter. Even though I know that there's a lot of cell phones, and even my Sony CX405 has a certain level of uh, stabilization in there. These offer more, and you can find them pretty affordable, under $100 for sure, for the whole set. For the whole set. Maybe this will be cheaper with a smaller tripod, but it just depends on where you're buying it. These Manfrottos are considered semi-professional, which generally means that they are a little bit on the expensive side if you buy them new, but they are very good quality build, and they have an excellent reputation. And if you do get a chance to get yourself a fluid head for just recording with your cell phone or with a camcorder, man, I tell you, I highly recommend it. I'm so glad that I got them. And if you watch any of my videos of when I went to the air show, I have a few of them, and they're not they're very short, they're not very long, but you'll hear me crying about how I should have brought my fluid head, tripod, because I was having a little bit of a difficult time tracking the airplanes smoothly, smoothly, shall we say, with my cheapy tripod. I didn't even take this one. I should have at least taken this one. That's a good Velbon. That's a good brand. But I took an even cheaper, much lighter in weight than that one, and I was having some issues tracking the airplanes, especially zooming and tracking, zooming back and tracking. And anyway, highly recommend Fluid Head if you get a chance to, if you're doing any kind of recording. And if you have any questions, hopefully I can answer something. Shoot me a message and I'll do what I can. Thank you.